Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the Breakfast Club. I'm uploading late. It's a belated video. I spaced and thought I was still in the mode of doing Sunday videos. Oh, wait, you're supposed to do it Friday. Oh, okay. So, sorry about that. Interesting subject being brought up. I don't know how much I'm going to have to say about it. It's probably going to be a short video. I don't think we are entitled to free entertainment. I don't think we're entitled to it. I think some forms of advertising can be intrusive and I think the advertising industry can push out some pretty toxic messages about humanity, about what our priorities should be. I think there's a lot of messed up things in a lot of ads. But, I fully understand why they're necessary. Sometimes I use ad block, sometimes I don't. And I probably shouldn't use it, but some of the ads they want you to watch, they don't allow you to skip it, and you gotta wait. I've had some where I have to wait 2 minutes. So I'll hit reload, I'll hit F5 and reload the page. Let's see if this ad is as long. No, this one's as long. Let's hit it again, and maybe I'll come up to an ad that isn't quite as long, right? And if it is, well, let's mute it and have the ad play, click on another tab and wait a little while, and then come back. Because some ads I just don't want to watch. I don't want to be bombarded with those kinds of messages. Because again, some of them are kind of toxic as far as how it suggests we're supposed to look at humanity. But I have the same problem with a lot of movies. In most movies and television programs or any of that, there is a hint of indoctrination involved. They want you to see things a particular way. And sometimes the way they want you to see things is kind of messed up, as far as I'm concerned. It's one of the reasons why I've liked... I've talked about this in some of my own videos, how Star Trek from the Next Generation all the way through Voyager was really, really focused. I mean, the original Star Trek had some of this too, but it wasn't... What was considered over the top in things that it would bring up as far as social issues in the 60s is quite different than the stuff in the 80s and in the 90s, Some things that were just, considered way over the top back then. You go to the 80s and 90s and it's like, oh, who cares, So... like, oh, an interracial kiss, But the messages in Star Trek, I know I'm seeming like I'm going way off topic, but maybe I'll be able to bring it back again. The messages in the Star Trek from Next Gen through Voyager was, what's the best we can be? How can we be better people? Let's depict a reality where people have gotten past the warring, people have gotten past any sort of colonialism, people have gotten past all this stuff. How do people act when they're in that kind of environment? And the thing that would bring it together to make it more solid for people is it's a government. It's how people that are part of the government, agents of the government. It could almost be considered military, I guess, but it's to bring some sort of order to it. If they were to try to just show what people's lives who are living on the planets were like, it wouldn't sink in, So there is a lot of indoctrination in that show, but it was something that I thought was a good message. So commercials, they don't have that kind of message. It's just like, be as superficial as you can, buy now, buy, you know. I think of THX 1138. What is that? For the masses. I can't remember the whole phrase. There's this line that gets repeated in the movie THX 1138. There are these rooms you go into that has a picture of a face of someone, and it's their religion, and you go to these rooms, and the people are so drugged up, just because drug evasion is illegal, right? And they're so drugged up, they'll go into this room, and it's like going to confession, but it's not even. There's no real person on the other end, and it's just essentially a tape that's playing. It's basically, yes, I understand, And it's somewhat, some of the commercials somewhat seem like that same kind of message. So, man, I've gone really, really far off the path here. So I don't really like commercials very much, even though, oddly enough, they are the thing that I end up remembering more. Like, I'll get a sense of nostalgia more when I look at old commercials than I do old shows. And some of that's because commercials, they put more into every second of a commercial than they usually do any of the shows that are on. Some commercials, they spend as much to make those commercials and do the research for those commercials as they do, several episodes of a show. I mean, a lot of money goes into these things, so they're really, really trying to get into our minds. They want us to... You'll see someone walking a certain way. They want you to think of a product. Someone says a certain phrase. They want you to think of a product. And they want people to be more materialistic. And anyway, so I understand people's dislike of watching commercials. So, I sometimes use ad block, I sometimes don't. But that's the business model that YouTube offers. People can do Patreon, people can have their videos sponsored. They could advertise a product within the video. And that's the way, those are some of the options available on YouTube. Other platforms like Vimeo have a completely different business model. Vimeo, the people that end up paying are the ones that upload a lot of content. I pay $10 a month so I can upload 5 gigabytes a week. I haven't been taking advantage of it for quite a while. But Vimeo has a very, very, very different business model. And so, anyone who wants to just watch videos, that's all free. You don't get any ads or any of that. It's on the people that are uploading. Now, if you only upload a certain amount, just a piddly amount, that's free too. But if you want to use a lot of bandwidth, and your videos are probably going to take a lot of bandwidth, then they want you to pay some money, right? So, a completely different business model. So in that regard, on Vimeo, people get entertainment for free. YouTube, not really. Is it morally wrong to use ad block? I don't know whether I'd say morally wrong. It means people can't get revenue, but is it morally wrong? This could also open up a can of worms when it comes to the subject of other things that people want for free on the internet. Software. Now, my opinion about software is if a company charges too much for it, they should expect people will pirate it. If they charge a reasonable price for it, then it's reasonable to go after people who pirate it. That's my view on it. A lot of people really, really hate how a lot of companies are going this subscription route. But honestly, that subscription route allows people who normally couldn't afford it to afford it. It's still not cheap, but at least it's affordable for people, right? They don't have to pay a huge sum of money right up front. You can, do a monthly thing. Some companies don't have a monthly option, and that's kind of sad. Oh, pay this much a year. Well, then they might as well be just charging a lot for the software, and then they should again expect people to probably pirate it. Well, if you don't want it, you don't want that. If you want the software enough, then you should pay for it. Whatever. I kind of differ on that. But whatever, So, are we entitled to free entertainment? Not exactly, no. But a lot of entertainment is free. And I guess I don't really know where to go from here. I definitely feel that those who do put a lot of work, especially those who put a lot of work into their craft, should be able to demand that people, to see their stuff, that they pay money, that people pay money. That's totally reasonable. There's a service, and someone wants to charge. Okay, fine. That makes sense. If I want to do computer repair for someone, I'm going to charge some money. That's just how it is. Now, some people, and I've done lots of free computer repair too, particularly to my friends. But, I guess I don't know where to go, and that sound you're hearing is I'm going like this with the camera lens. So, well, I hope I've covered everything that I could. I went into a lot of things that are probably not exactly related, but I guess it explains more about my feelings about commercials and entertainment and indoctrination and all that sort of thing. So, thanks so much.